Good morning. Today is Friday, December 8th, 2023. Today we have our annual reminder of a very important principle. Tonight we light both the Chanukah lights and the Shabbos lights. Tonight will be the second night of Chanukah. And the procedure that we use is first we light the Chanukah lights, and then we light the Shabbos lights. And the reason for that is clear, because lighting the Shabbos lights accepts for us the status of it being Shabbos. And once it's Shabbos, we're not allowed to light lights. So we light the Chanukah lights first, and then we accept Shabbos upon ourselves by lighting the Shabbos lights. Tomorrow night, it's the reverse. For the same reason, the light of Havdalah ends Shabbos for us. So we want to finish Shabbos, and then it will be the third day of Chanukah. We light the Chanukah Menorah after Havdalah. But what if, Nebuch, a person cannot afford both? What if a person is so poor that they can only afford either to light a Chanukah Menorah or to light a Shabbos light? What should they do? So the logical, intuitive answer would be to light the Chanukah Menorah, because the Chanukah Menorah fulfills the mitzvah of Pirsumei Nisa, publicizing the miracle. I don't light the Chanukah lights just for myself. I put it in the window. In Israel, I put it outside my door. Other people see it. It's visible. It affects lots and lots of people. However, the Rambam Maimonides famously says no. The Rambam says that even though the Chanukah lights fulfill the mitzvah of Pirsumei Nisa, publicizing the miracle, the reason that we light Shabbos candles is because we want to achieve on Shabbos Shalom Bayit, harmony within the home. And Shalom Bayit, harmony within the home, is more important than the mitzvah of publicizing the miracle of Chanukah. Hopefully people will have enough for both lights, but if a person had to choose, Shabbos comes first. I just want to point out, I've said this before, that when we say Shabbos lights, of course, we're referring to the 2 or whatever number of candles a person, often a woman, will light before Shabbos and make a bracha. But the mitzvah of Shabbos lights refers to all of the lights that a person leaves in their house on Shabbos, so that it is illuminated in the living areas. And it leads to Shalom Bayit, because if you have a room that is dark, people could bump into each other. It could cause an argument. If you're trying to eat a meal and there's no light whatsoever, you would knock this over, you could knock that over. And then, so therefore, having an illuminated space in the living areas of your home leads to Shalom Bayit. It leads to a comfortable and convivial space. From this technical rule, Rabbi Aaron Lichtenstein derives a global principle. And that is one's family, the obligations to one's family, how we take care of our family, how we have to treat our family. That takes precedence to other spiritual pursuits and to other communal pursuits. Our family must come first. The definition of Shalom Bayit is given to us in the Talmud. It's repeated by the Rambam and others. Now, in the Talmud, the context of the Talmud is, it is speaking about a man towards his wife, but it's just using that as an example. That's simply the context of that comment, but it applies equally of a wife towards her husband and parents to children. It applies to everybody within the immediate family. And in the form of a husband towards his wife, the Talmud says, Ohev es ishto kegufo, a man must love his wife as much as he loves himself, umechabda yoser migufa, but must treat her with honor more than he treats himself. A person has to have love, but a person also has to have honor, respect, more for the other person than I have for myself. And the very, very practical barometer of how to know if you're fulfilling that is turn it around. Whatever it is you're about to do or say or not do or not say, if the other person did it to you, would you like it or would you not like it? Would you like it if the other person served themselves first and didn't offer you first? So then you should never serve yourself first. You should always offer it to someone else first. Would you like it if someone answered you in a rude manner or a harried manner, even if they said, "Oh, well, I'm very busy. I was thinking about something else." But would you like someone to speak to you like that? So then you should not speak to anyone else like that, even if you are harried and distracted. And doesn't matter. If you wouldn't want it done for you, you shouldn't do it to someone else. You should have more respect for the other person than you have for yourself. So just in time for this annual reminder of the importance of Shalom Bayit, I have some help for all of us. I want to share with you part of an article. It appeared in the New York Times, written by Jancee Dunn. Jancee Dunn is a woman who is a therapist. And she writes the following article. She writes that another therapist who is a friend of hers came to visit her. And her friend came and sat down on the couch. She closed her eyes. She was really worn out from the week. And she said, "You know what phrase I wish I could ban couples from saying? I never said that." And she then explained to Jancee, her friend, the problem with saying those words, "I never said that." Number one, she hears it in her practice of therapies, counseling, of marriage counseling, couples counseling. She hears it almost every week. And number two, immediately the session devolves into an argument about whether the person did say it or did not say it. And so once you say, "I never said that," any chance of any kind of constructive reconciliation is often lost. Try not to say those words, "I never said that." So, after this little conversation, Jancee Dunn started to think to herself, well, I wonder what other therapists would say is the word or phrase that they most wished they would never hear in their therapy sessions. So she asked a number of her colleagues, and here's some of what she heard. So this is very good advice. This is coming from professionals about words or phrases not to say to a spouse or to a family member because they are almost always counterproductive. So the first one, "I never said that." Try not to do that. The second one is to say, we've talked about this before, "You always," to start a sentence with "you always" or "you never." "You always criticize me. You never pick up the clothes." The problem with that is, first of all, usually when we use those words, there are exaggerations. And secondly, there's no way to defend myself against always. I don't know what I did 6 years ago. There's nothing constructive that can come from that. Stay in the moment. Stay in the present. Here is the problem that I'm having with you now. I want you to hear from me what is upsetting me about your behavior right now. Focus on the problem at hand. And say, here's why it's bothering me. Another no-no in a conversation. Yes, but. This is very damaging. One person will voice a concern. The other person will agree, yes. Then they'll add a caveat, but. One person might say, you were 10 minutes late. And the other person might say, yes, but you were late last week. Using the word but implies it's kind of perfunctory to me to honor your concerns, but I really don't understand it or validate it because what you do is worse. So either say yes or say no, but yes, but can only cause trouble. Another one. This is very bad. You should be more like, and fill in the blank. That is never, ever a helpful strategy. Why can't you be a father like so-and-so? Playing this comparison game, number one, can lead to jealousy, and it breeds a lot of issues with self-image and self-confidence and self-esteem. And it's just generally never helpful. You're overreacting. This is a terrible thing to say. Do not say this. Because if I say that you're overreacting, it's as if I'm the expert on what your reaction should be. But, she writes, no one person is the actuary of emotional responses. You're not the expert on how much I should react. One person does not get to determine which reactions are appropriate. And often, saying you're overreacting is just a way to bypass accountability. Perhaps one of the worst things to say, you guessed it, calm down. Calm down. Calm down almost always has the opposite effect. It's like oil on fire. Don't tell a person to calm down. No one in the history of the world ever calmed down after someone said to them, calm down. And lastly, it's not that big a deal. When you say that, you are belittling your family member. It's inaccurate because you can't measure how someone else feels, how something feels to someone else. If I say it's not that big a deal, maybe it's not that big a deal to me, but it could be a big deal to you. You can't make that call. If we can watch ourselves and restrain at least these obvious examples of comments, then Shalom Bayit, real harmony within the home where there is love and honor and respect in all directions, is much more easily achieved. My friends, I wish you a good day, a beautiful Shabbos, a lovely celebration of Chanukah, a Shabbat Shalom, a Shabbos where the candlelights do their job of helping to create real Shalom Bayit, harmony within the home, for you, your family, your friends, and the entire community. Shabbat Shalom.